Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you're still alive out there. It's May 26, 2022. It's Black Power Magic Hour, and my name's Messiah Rhodes.
Dr. Evil Genius here. How you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing okay. I flew back from a foreign country at the worst timing ever to give me a contrast of like worlds. You know what I mean? Like the airport where I came from was like beautiful. It felt like I left someone's rich house. Like this airport was gorgeous, yo. And
now you got to use paper plates again.
Yeah, I landed back in JFK. It's moldy. The floor is sticky. Mad cops for no reason. So I'm back here in the ghetto, back in the hood of the world somehow. Even though there's places that have way less resources. But we're going to talk about this because even though there's places with way less resources, communities of color, white communities all across the world that have way less resources in the United States, you know what they have? A sense of community. They have a sense of community. So there's not like 288 mass shootings happening in Zimbabwe, even though they live in abject poverty. Somehow they're not mass murdering each other the way we do here in the United States. Why? Because, there's no for himself, every woman for themselves. Everyone just wants to and when you feel trapped like a rat in a cage, people are going to lash out. And this is what we've been seeing almost every other day. I guess 3 times a day, because right now, what people pay attention to is just the mass casualty events. But you do have the one guy shooting somebody else down the street stuff. You also have the stuff that white people, instead of saying nigga, they say Chicago. So we have that as well.
We also have rampant self-termination, especially among males.
I mean, that's been a skyrocketing.
So you're talking about introverted violence, but we focus on the extroverted violence. We're going to get into a lot of this today. I fully came to work tonight ready to piss some people off. So it's definitely time to get to work.
So I'm going to pull up what we usually do because it's still Black History Month.
It is February 97th, I believe.
Because you know what happened? Remember that? I don't even pay attention to this story because we're not going to pay attention to it because it's bullshit. But there's
February
one story
87th.
about 87th, about Great Value. Remember that brand, Great Value?
Oh, yeah.
Like glass and a pancake mix and metal.
Now they're going to tell us that they're going to tell us that they got a new product for us for February 101st.
The same company. I was bugging when I saw that because we've been reporting on that, right? They would use the same company we find glass and rat shit in it. They have the nerve to make a June 13th.
Juneteenth.
Like fucking, it's like fucking, it might as well be June 13th. That's why it's like unlucky nightmare ice cream. The nerve of them to make a Juneteenth ice cream. That's not gonna have glass in it too.
But it's okay because they released an official apology. So, because that's what we Black people are expected to do, right? Like somebody gives us a weak ass apology. And we're supposed to just accept it and move on and sing Kumbaya while people are hunting us down at supermarkets.
Yeah, because the crazy thing about this is you can make all the ice cream products, you can make the T-shirts, but where's the money going? Where was that money going? That's the question I had. Where the fuck was that money going that all your shitty ice cream was going to go, your Great Value ice cream? So where is it going? I guess the Waltons, I guess. So I'm going to play...
they're Great Value wire accounts.
I cried when Leo died. Bro. Real gangster. Shipping that across the Atlantic. Secret compartments built in the Titanic. I'm coming with big straps, they gigantic. I come through with that thing, they get frantic. Riding through with the goons, they gon' panic. Think this beat fits what you talk about? Nah, this beat hard, blood. Hi, man. Blood gang. Big strap with the extendo clip. I can get the addy and get you hit. Connect with the bricks that'll get you rich. You can catch the fist for running your lips. I'm a big shark, boy, your flesh get ripped. Or you can get ate with the rest of the fish. I'm a thug, huh? I know
this sounds like a RICO indictment.
I make it flood, huh? I just don't understand why you don't use beats that are more.
But they use that for us. But Donald Trump is committing all kinds of crimes. It's not RICO and that motherfucker, but fucking 20-year-old rappers.
Real gangster.
Low-hanging fruit bears.
I'm too sexy with this Mac. Take off your hat. I'm too sexy with this cat. The target hit your back. It go tat 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 tat.
More people saying I look like 50 Cent.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. Made you pay for my food on the first date. You got the nerve to say it was the worst date. Shouldn't have told me you was balling in the first place. Called me a scrub in my pants for the grub. Asked why I couldn't pay for the bill. I just shrugged. Met another chick at her house to get love. Her toilet had a flood, so I dookied in the tub. Called me a scrub.
Why do you think he has bars?
Jungle Beats, holla at me.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Came through wearing a thong and some cowboy boots. They be lying, but I'm really the truth. I be chillin', sipping yak, watching Winnie the Pooh. If you got food, then I might come through. I'm a thug, but I still play duck, duck, goose. At a parent's house for dinner, cause I'm the man. Didn't use a fork, told him I like to use my hands. Rim spinning on a soccer mom's van. Touch my feet, yeah, they crusty and a little funky, but I just want you to rub my toes, boy. Touch my feet, yeah, nothing wrong with a toe jam. When you lick them, just hold your nose, boy. Touch my feet. Here we go. Nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies. My bank account is empty. I got nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies. My bank account is empty. My car got declined. I'm broke. That's why. Pink bike with
We've been off of work for over a month, and this is what we come back to.
It's America.
By a monkey when I went to the zoo. I got nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies. Nickels, quarters, pennies.
Yeah, so I'm gonna follow up with that video because it's been a long time. This is what it feels like coming back after so long, after a month and some change, being back, not talking to you guys. I'm gonna play this clip. This is what it feels like being back in Black Power Magic Hour for so long.
Walks on Earth after landing from space.
Shout out to YouTube.
Why
shout
can't
out
they
to
walk immediately
Twitch, shout
after
out to
returning from
Facebook,
space?
shout out
The
to
astronauts
Goku,
have been in free
Fire
fall for
Stick,
months
Apple
in the space
TV.
station. And when they shift their
We're all
body
live
from
right
zero
now,
gravity
across
to the
different
Earth's
platforms.
gravity,
Shout
they
out to
need
you
some
guys
assistance
tuning in.
for walking. Since the astronaut feels zero weight in space, their body begins to change, which includes the loss of bones and muscle mass. The zero gravity environment will make their muscles weak and their legs become weaker and they cannot handle continuous loads. A few days for their bodies to readjust to the old conditions. So the astronauts are transported in wheelchairs after landing. The space agencies will properly monitor their body conditions after landing. After a few days of proper exercises and training, they will get
Why they
back
look
to
like
normal
rich
life.
ass rappers? So
Yeah, there's a goblet and a pimp cup somewhere around there. We just didn't see it.
So that's what it feels like. It feels like we're astronauts standing back on Earth, getting the limbs atrophy, getting the limbs going again. And also before we get to our next segment, this is what it also feels like because we had 2 mass shootings. We have babies dying from baby formula, and we did almost 2 segments on Black Power Magic Hour about contaminated food supplies. We did that, so it was a feeling that something strange was going on with the food supply. Companies were not giving a fuck about us anymore, to the point that a whistleblower was fired from Orbit, one of the biggest baby formula companies, who also threw away COVID testing because they made too many of them, so they threw them out. So this is the same company that had contaminated baby formula. They fired the person who was warning about the contaminated baby formula. 2 babies died, and now we have a whole situation here. We're not going to get a full supply of baby formula until maybe July. But here in Black Power Magic Hour, we did one segment about pizza being contaminated, with this segment about the Great Value brand. So you
see how that all ties in?
Yeah. See,
you got some fucking Juneteenth ass baby formula. And it never works out the way they planned it. It's really funny. A lot of people have a lot to say about whether or not pregnancy should go to term, right? But here's the thing that gets me about the people that are like, all pregnancies must go to term, right? They use this term. They call it pro-life, right?
Yeah.
Right. But then you got one of these fucking politicians talking about, the immigrant children shouldn't have access to it when we have a shortage. And it's like, motherfucker, didn't you just finish telling me about how pro-life you are? You do know that babies need to eat to live, right, motherfucker? Like,
babies can't vote. Babies have no idea what's going on with politics.
Yeah, but they say that they're pro-life, though, right? But is it like pro-life unless they came from south of the border or something? Like, you got something against Taco Bell, motherfucker?
So this is the most hateful shit ever happened, and people didn't realize that those states like Texas and Georgia, they're being held hostage by a small, crazy minority. Not everyone in Texas is like that. Not everyone in Georgia is like that. So hopefully people don't kind of like say, "Oh, Texans is a bunch of dumbasses." No, Texans do not like what's happening now at all.
Like I said, politicians, and you know me, man. You know me. Yeah. I'm about keeping that same energy. If you're gonna come at me pro-life, okay. I don't think that you're having the right conversation, on either side. That's just my opinion. But if you're going to come to me with this pro-life shit, then you need to be like pro everybody living. I saw this cartoon, right? And this homeless guy is standing like across the street from like a courthouse, and he holds up a sign that says "former fetus." Remember, you used to care about me at one point, but now that I'm outside the womb, I could just die, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the same way that they treat the military, right? Yeah, we talk about support our troops until they come back home.
You get a fucking AR-15 and just walk around in Texas.
Yeah, you can eat the shells from your AR-15. Yeah, they'll let you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they ain't giving you no other food.
So this has also been the vibe. This has been, like.
What song are you listening to? Oh, listening to Berserk soundtrack for Gatsu. Oh, cool. Thanks.
This has been the vibe the past few days.
That looks really uncomfortable.
I guess we're going to talk about the first horrible thing that happened, that people were paying attention more to other shit that has nothing to do with their lives. But with one thing that happened, I want to talk about first is the Buffalo shooting, which we almost forgot right away because another shooting happened, which is why people complain about mass shootings and craziness, because they happen so frequently to the point that it's disorienting. But this one was crazy because he targeted old black people who were just minding their fucking business, shopping. He didn't go to a gym, or he didn't go to a black barber shop where just able-bodied people could have did something. No, he went to elderly people and found those people to fight, massacre. But this story, since we have enough time to step away from it, the Buffalo suspect gunman was kicked out of Topps store the night before the rampage. So it goes back to the great policing, the great police force we have in this country of people either going to massacre people while the cops stand around, or people warning about them before they be massacred. So this is what happened in Buffalo as well. Like we heard, armed security guards. Like they want armed security, even though the first guy that got the bullet was an armed security guard. Fucking idiots saying that shit. We need more armed security guards. All right, sure, bet. What about someone walks in with fucking full body armor? What are you gonna do about that armed security guard? So a civil rights advocate, a deacon, a heroic security guard were among 10 people killed in apparent race. He had nigga written on the gun, and he had reparations. Take this.
We'll get deeper into that. We'll get deeper into that because I've got some theories on that.
So he says Tops Friendly Market. The victims' ages range from 32 to 86. The suspects identified were Peyton Grandin from Conklin, New York. I actually know what that is. So he continued his rampage if he had not been stopped by officers outside the store. We also heard that as well. He made plans. He's been planning this for a long time. We have uncovered information. If he escaped the supermarket, he had plans to continue his attack by driving down to shoot more black people, possibly go to another store location. But we're going to go to like the before of this. He posted threads in the social media platform Discord about body armor and guns. And last month made provocative remarks about federal law enforcement. The Associated Press reported of getting a recording of a call with FBI agent in charge of Buffalo made that statement. 2 months before the shooting, he was casing the same top supermarket and was confronted by a security guard, reported by the Washington Post. So here you go. Chanel Harris Teague, an operations manager at Top, told ABC News she saw the suspect sitting on the bench outside the store for several hours Friday, the day before the shooting. He had a camper bag in his bag and was dressed in the same camouflage he wore Saturday. She said he entered the store that evening and appeared to be bothering customers, so she asked him to leave, which he did, Teague said. The next day, she was fleeing out the back door of the store as the gunman shot people in the aisles. So there you have it.
Well, I've got some theories on this because I think that if people want to say that this was a racially provoked attack, I'm not going to argue that because that's the obvious. That's the obvious thing to chalk it up to. But I'm going to get a little deeper on this.
He said it himself. He said it. It's not like we're making it up. He said it.
No,
he said I'm going to kill black people. So.
No, I'm gonna get deeper on this. I'm gonna get deeper on this because I think we're gonna get to the actual real point here. Okay. So you have somebody that needed to drive nearly 4 hours based upon this principle called
kill black people.
Based upon this principle of the Great Replacement theory. Okay.
Even though he lived in a nice neighborhood, he got everything he needed. No one's replacing anything from him,
The Great Replacement theory relies on this notion that the white race is dropping in percentages, and you can look from the 2010 census to the 2020 census. That's actually true.
Yeah, but this is dropping like the Native Americans dropped. Are they dropping like that?
But here's where you really start, where this all starts to kind of fall apart. Okay, if you look at the white race went from 2010 to 54% of the population to like 46% in the 2020 census. Okay, so if you lose 8 percentage points for one race, that means that other races are gaining. Does that sound reasonable? Does that sound reasonable, Messiah?
Yeah.
So if they lose 8 percentage points, that means that other races are gaining. Do you want to take a guess? Because there's only one. There's only one race in the United States of America that is not gaining in market share. Which race is that, Messiah?
I'm not sure.
Black people. We're the only race in the country of minorities that has not grown in market share as far as the percentage of the U.S. population.
Does it makes the shooting even more absurd?
So, and this is where I'm going with this. So, if you are a young white male at age 18 and you're following this replacement theory stuff from some echo chamber out there, and then you go and attack the only group that's not replacing white people, that means that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you believe in. So if this kid doesn't really know what the fuck he believes in, then we need to get to the real nitty gritty of what's going on here. He used this issue as a conduit to work through his rage at life. See, you already kind of hinted at this. If you're talking all this white replacement stuff, why'd you have to drive 4 hours plus
to find the black people? To find the black people.
Find the people that's supposed to be replacing you.
Because if they're replacing you, you probably just walk down the street. Oh, there they are. They're replacing me.
Exactly, right?
You have to go that far, right?
Right. So the thing is that the dude had very poor intel, and his actions demonstrated that on some level he was aware, not acutely aware, but on some level he was aware that what he had gotten into makes no goddamn sense. Yeah. So if the race issue is too obvious, is so obvious that it's not even real, right? Then the question then remains, what is the real issue then, right? I mean, and then you see a kid 10 days later trying to one up him. Why? Because they both suffer from the same fucking problem.
Yeah, still for race is the issue for him, but I feel like the biggest problem
he didn't give a fuck about no race, Messiah. He was using that as an excuse.
No, I'm talking about Peyton. No,
I'm talking about him. I'm talking about him.
Peyton?
He's using the race issue as an excuse to express rage. It doesn't act. He doesn't even have real intel. He just picked something and said, my life is not what I want it to be, and I am going to use this.
It's a total made-up delusional thing that's been used.
Yeah, we're going to get into that tonight, too.
Oppressed and destroyed communities for 500 years. So that's the thing. But he did use race. You cannot deny that. That's the problem. You can't deny this.
This is my point, Messiah. This is my point. Is that his real motivation wasn't race. Like, I know what the fucking narrative is, and I understand that completely, and I don't get mad at anybody for pointing out the obvious. But what I'm saying is that if we really want to get to the bottom of these this extroverted violence, if we really want to get to the bottom of it, we need to stop looking at what people want us to see and see what's there. The kid didn't know what the fuck he believed.
I mean, turn on the Fox News. No one knows what they fucking believe because they're not even saying.
But him specifically,
I don't get that point. I think
fundamentally, but he didn't even watch Fox News. They claim he was a fucking liberal. It doesn't matter to me. The kid had a lot of rage in his flesh that predates whatever fucking twisted shit he found on 4chan, and that's the shit that I'm getting at. No, the race thing is a smokescreen.
No, you can't say that on Black Power Magic Hour and say that.
The race. My thing is, for me, I'm trying to get at what's really there, so that we can have a hope of starting to tamp down the violence across the board. Like, for me, I really do not care about optics. I do not. I want to get to the bottom of it so it stops.
He believed in and he killed black people.
He did not know what he believed in, and that's my fucking point.
Thought he was genius. He didn't go and kill like action figures. He killed black people.
I know this.
This is a historical thing. You can say the same thing for white people lynching black people that didn't understand what they mean. They just hung that black person. I mean, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I do understand what you're saying. That
I'm saying that
shooters. Let me finish.
He's using the race issue as an excuse to express his rage. He was going to express it in some way.
Every lynching that ever happened in this country. That's the thing. I don't understand that angle, but I do understand what you mean
because it ties him with the kid in Texas, because their problems are exactly the fucking same. There is something that ties them together. The kid was Mexican and he killed a bunch of little Mexican kids.
Yeah,
but their problems are the same. That's what I'm saying.
They're not even going to slide to this big issue I want to talk about. I understand what you're saying about the whole fact that we have a culture of hyper individualism. We have a culture that, if you don't succeed, it's your fucking problem. We talk about
exactly my fault. Now we're getting to the real. Now we're getting to the real fucking problem.
Yeah, but white supremacy is what built this nation.
Well, the thing is, white supremacy is just some bullshit to enslave white minds.
No,
to get them to be happy, we're having nothing.
the fucking Palace of Versailles is built by slaves, like the regimes in France.
But
So
remember,
not-
the French are
not
the
the-
one that came up with the concept so that they could make an excuse to start the slave trade. They started this shit. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the concept of white supremacy is a means to enslave poor white people in society to get them happy with having all of their resources stolen from them from the massively rich. You want to talk about some dash and bash bullshit? I'm going there tonight. They just say, well, my life is good as long as somebody else has it worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they gave the slave.
We've got political cartoons that go back more than 130 years showing that it's the bankers stealing the 19 cookies, leaving one cookie to the white man, and then tell him, hey, watch out for that black man. He's going to steal your cookie. We've got political cartoons revealing this shit over 130 years ago.
Now we can go further than cartoons. You can just really talk about.
But I'm saying, but people knew that this was a smokescreen. They just use black people as something that they can use to get white people to be happy.
They use black people for oil before they found oil. That's what they used black people for.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. And that's what I'm saying. If we can actually get into the real cause of the shit, we might have a chance to stop it. Like I said, I don't mind if you look at it and say, well, he went to a town full of black people. He had all of these racist manifestos. I don't have a problem with that. But I want to dig deeper than that.
It's just it's not a direction of the argument to go, oh, he wasn't thinking about white supremacy. No, don't even mention that. Just mention the fact that, we live in a culture that's hyper individualism. We live in a culture where like there's people who live in poor nations, poor societies, and they don't mass knife each other.
And that's why I'm glad you brought it up, because I didn't make that connection.
They don't mass slapjack each other. They don't
like each other. I'm really happy that you brought that up, because I didn't make that connection. Because as you know, well, this is actually true around the world. The more poverty you have, the crime rate goes up. Like it's like, when the crime goes up, you can see that people's pockets are flatter. Like you can kind of see.
But crime goes. But there's not the scale of gun violence here. What I'm saying is
right, and that's why I'm glad you brought that up.
Comfortable asking for sugar down the street. I mean, we live in a country now. You get on the subway, you make a shot by somebody for no reason. So, like, that doesn't happen in Paris. It doesn't happen in Kenya. It doesn't happen in other places. But with like funny looking buses like they have in Kenya and stuff like that.
But that's why I'm happy that you brought that up, because that goes to my greater point. Which covers both shooters, and I need people to hear me when I fucking say this, because when you said that there's no sense of community. That hit different. And I really hope that people were paying attention when you said that, when you were saying, we have, when you go to these other countries and you see that there is a sense of community, the thing that, people want to blame the parents. They want to blame this. They want to blame the gun manufacturers. Here's the real fucking problem. We have an issue in our country, unique to our country, where we don't show respect to people unless we think we can get something out of them, unless they've proven some sort of value, or, they have the particular set of genitals that society decides is better than the other particular set of genitals. And then what happens is everybody else that don't fit that, they're left out there to dry. So you get these kids, and right now, the acceptable target are boys. You can denigrate them, you can demonize them, you can tell them they're not worth anything. That's the acceptable target in society today. So you got these kids that are out there by themselves, the so-called loner. They're nobody. They have this perception, because it's usually not true, but they have this perception that they are invisible in our society because nobody cares about their existence until they do something drastic. I think then we start talking about teenage boys.
I think targets us in a sense that we're all given this dream that if we do this and that, you're gonna have a big ass house and a big ass car and a bunch of shit.
We don't got that dream. We don't have that started with me and you, right? We never even. Where did we meet each other? We never had that dream.
No, but I'm saying that's the dream that's given to us. That's what, if you work really hard, you're gonna get that dream. But this is what I just want.
That dream is dead. You see the economy today. That dream is dead.
that's what I want to talk about next. Is that the next thing about the fact that we have somehow this is the most morbid, tragic shit we have in this nation. We have
it's all connected, man.
Mass shootings is only like 2%, 4% of things, but the bigger picture you have is like suicides are going up. People are just blowing their brains out with the guns they buy,
jumping off bridges.
That's what most people are doing now with the guns, is killing themselves.
And we got people jumping off the bridges here in New York City, right? And you know what their response is? We need to build a gate to stop people from jumping. No, how about you fix the fucking economy and stop fucking the American worker? Right? How about we fix the fucking economy so you don't have both parents out in the workforce grinding just to make ends meet, and then the kids are in daycare, they're in school, they don't know their fucking parents. How about you let these parents have time with their fucking kids? How about that?
That's one of the things.
You want to stop some fucking mass shootings? How about you let a mother be a mother to her fucking kids? How about that?
Even though of course I have critiques about the church, about religion, but the thing is, it's a master narrative. It's a I forgot who called it. It's a master narrative, which is about part of the community. We all believe in something. We all go and meet somewhere, whether it's like a Boy Scout or the gym. We have a master narrative of friends and colleagues, acquaintances that we can connect to, and we have a generation that you see right now. We see in our own eyes. These children are growing up. They have absolutely no master narrative. The only master narrative is to make themselves a brand for social media companies. And if they're not a good brand for social media companies, they just just go blow your brains out. This is literally what we're telling kids right now. I should post a suicide hotline after saying something like that, but it's the truth, right? Literally, we had congressional hearings. This is the most we can do. We can't lock nobody up for doing this, but we can have lame ass congressional hearings saying that they're fucking up they're fucking up little girls' brains, they're fucking up little boys' brains, they're really fucking up brains, they're fucking up people's behavioral patterns. This was said on oath at congressional hearings over and over again by Facebook, Twitter, all these different platforms. We know this is happening, and at the same time, we had this kid who sent messages to we were talking about the Texas shooting. He messaged a girl in Germany he met, his friends on the internet. The only person you can talk to. This is how lonely this kid was. Like a fucking random girl in Germany was his friend before he went on the fucking killing spree. This is how alienated some people are.
And I want to give a shout out to Dennis Sperling. He's a YouTuber and an attorney. I watched his live stream earlier today, and he said a lot of the things. It was nice to see a well-to-do, successful black man say what I've been saying for the last 3 weeks on my shows on different platforms. And he says, happy people don't do these things. No. We've got. Did you know about this guy on the? I think it was on the Q train crossing the bridge, just randomly shot another guy.
Yeah, and you hear about the other guy who shot himself with a gun and almost held a train operator hostage in the 2 train.
No, I did not hear about that.
That was worse than the fucking. Even though he killed somebody, but this guy was about to hijack a fucking subway car. And luckily, the train operator was like, "Fuck you! I'd rather die than you take control of this train."
Right. But again, do happy people do these things? Are people are there people that have hope for their place in the future? Do they do these kinds of things?
I'm not saying random people are not cool on the internet. What I'm saying is.
No, I'm just talking about the people doing the violence.
Yeah, I'm talking
happy people don't do those things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Despair is at an all-time high. So, here on Black Power Magic Hour, do you see that second word in our title, power? We all have the power to do something to mitigate this. And you know what? I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it again. Compassion is the key. I'll say it for you one more time. Compassion is the key. The compassion is not for the person. The compassion is for your own selfish self-preservation. Yeah. And here's why. Because when you show respect and compassion to people that you don't think that you need to show respect to, that you need to show compassion to on a day-to-day basis, that person might have some sort of hope, and then they might be less likely to make their problems your problem.
I think despair was I think the pandemic and the inflation is laid bare to the despair that's already been rising before.
But some people just need to hear that they're not worthless.
I feel that despair. No, Waffle says despair is parallel to inflation, but I feel that the despair was already rising in the pandemic.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with inflation. I mean, we had fucking mass shootings way before inflation.
I feel it laid bare to it. It made it more naked than before, but this shit has been rising.
Yeah, like the most infamous school shooting at all time was done by two very wealthy young boys. Okay? Inflation ain't got shit to do with it.
This kid who did the Buffalo shooting, he got his gun for his birth. He got this gun for Christmas for his birthday.
And again, he had to drive over 4 hours to go find his targets. He was in a place where he was surrounded by people who the dude wasn't broke. Inflation is not harming that kid.
Inflation.
Do you get do you get why I got past the racial aspect? Because I want people to see where this really comes from. That kid was ready to kill himself. He had no faith. He had no hope in his future. He did not see a place for himself. And he said, you know what? If I'm going out, I'm taking some motherfuckers with me. That's the shit that we need to combat. Happy people don't do mass shootings. People who think that people around them care about them don't do mass shootings. So there's not any one of you that has the responsibility to try to save the world from every mass shooter. But what you can do from your corner of the world is just show a little fucking compassion for people that you don't absolutely think are 100% worth your energy. Sometimes a smile, sometimes a hello, sometimes a how are you doing is enough to turn somebody else around.
Because the Senate, they went on vacation after 18 children babies were murdered. They go on
19.
Vacation.
I think 19 of those kids have died.
They went on
Plus
vacation.
2 teachers.
They went on vacation, yo. They're like, we did enough here. Let's go on vacation. Imagine that shit, yo. I get fucking fired if I did something like that. Like, get the fuck out of here. You don't come back. You go on vacation, you don't fucking come back. But this is what we deal with our politicians that we elect. We so-called elect. They go on vacation after a mass murder of children happened. They don't do shit. But when people protest outside Supreme Court with fucking old moms and shit, protest out us, they went and passed some shit within 24 hours to protect those judges. But when children are fucking murdered, I mean, we're gonna go to that later in the broadcast, but how they fucking literally stood around and heard the gunshots. They were listening to the gunshots like it was a fucking top 100 or fucking on the radio, murdering those kids. So we're gonna go to that next, but first we're gonna talk about Dash and Bash. It's kind of a bittersweet story about, actually fighting against the big crimes. This is the crimes that people feel powerless about. We're going to talk about, which is wage theft. Wage theft is insane, yo. You
want to know how crazy wage theft is? Wage theft is much larger in scale in terms of dollars stolen than all forms of theft combined. And I'm talking about the stuff that the police show up for. I'm talking about robbery. I'm talking about burglary. I'm talking about forgery, petty larceny, grand larceny, auto theft. You add all that shit up and it's still lower than wage theft. How you like them apples? But we don't care about that though, right?
So what way to make people feel powerless? You know what I mean? What way to make people feel utterly powerless to have your fucking wages stolen? You're not shit being done about it. So we're going to go to Dash and Bash and talk about this shit. So here we go. So once again, shout out to Twitch, YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Roku. We're live on the Apple Stick. We're live on Jeff Bezos' platform, whatever you call it. So
every platform is Jeff Bezos' platform with that fucking Amazon Web Service shit.
So we're gonna Twitch is the platform too. So we're gonna talk about the crimes that everyone gets, these corporations get away with all the fucking time, just wage theft. So I'm gonna pull up this story. So how does a fucking car wash owe $800,000 to people? A car wash, $800,000. But luckily, these people managed to get their money back. So I'm gonna play this.
I'm surprised motherfuckers ain't getting their car is keyed up by these.
Yo, because like
Where my
literally,
money at?
I'll bring this up because literally I was sitting in my car today, and a construction worker guy comes up to me. Yo, you work for this construction site? Because I have a pickup truck, so you thought I was about to get beat up by this guy.
Yo, I keep telling you about that fucking MAGA truck, son.
So he thought I was like a foreman for this construction company. Like, no, I'm not. I don't work for this construction company. Yo, they stole my money. I've been trying to call them. When I see them, they're getting the baseball bat treatment. Like this nigga, I'm sorry, this nigga was angry. Yeah, he was like, I was trying to help him find the phone number to the company, but he was like, no, they're gonna learn from violence. So a crime might be being committed in the next few days because they owe this man money. So
yeah, I want to apologize to the chat, y'all. I'm really pissed off. I've not been looking at the chat at all. I'm really pissed off. So I had to get some shit off my chest. Continue, Mr. Rhodes. Continue.
So we play this car wash. Somehow car wash stole $800,000 from his workers.
Glenn, we've been trying to speak with workers at this local car wash, and they say they are not comfortable commenting on camera out of fear.
Of course not.
One employee actually told me that in light of this whole investigation, that this is actually a great company to work for. He says there's been a lot of changes.
Pause, nigga. Pause.
People don't lose their livelihoods.
Pause. Let me get this straight. This is a great place to work. They steal my money. Roll it.
Smash up my fingers. It's all right.
Roll it.
No, I mean he's definitely saying that because this is the only job he has. It's probably undocumented. That's my prediction. That's my hypothesis why he's talking bootlicking like that. So
conditions on the job right now are great, are fair. In his words, he says it's just a shame that the rights of workers were violated. Over on this investigation, it impacted dozens of employees who work here, workers who, according to a California Labor Commissioner's investigation, were only paid for partial hours during some pay periods. They reportedly were not paid for overtime. Then there were issues of breaks with some employees.
These motherfuckers said paid for partial hours.
They were not compensated for, even though
that sounds like fucking borderline slavery, indentured servitude.
Nah, that's what I call larceny.
More than $800,000 in fines for this alleged wage theft. The Clean Car Wash Worker Center organization uncovered this violation after speaking to workers there as part of their regular outreach program all across the region. A representative there said there are more than 10,000 people who work for car washes in the area. Also, that this is an industry where there are often violations of workers' rights. Now, the time period reviewed in this investigation was from April 2018 to March 2021. We reached out to managers here at the car wash, but so far they have not commented to KTLA.
See you at the car wash, stealing your wages is. See you at the car wash. So I'm gonna go to this next story, which is an article because everyone's seeing those weird ass like fake rapid grocery stores. They also stealing people's wages too. So, if you see those delivery guys, they're not getting paid. So I'm gonna pull this next thing up. Rapid grocery store service block accused.
Fuck out of here.
Spitting the loogie out. Accused of waste theft by former workers. This is so shady. Before the Russian-funded delivery startup collapsed.
Yo, they're waging a war against everybody in the world right now.
Yo, son. Foremost worker block sold itself as a way for workers to escape the gig economy. That sounds like a fucking you got hustled, bro.
Yeah, because you don't have a gig if you ain't getting paid. That's how you escape from your gig economy. Just go straight to slavery. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
So in the early March, 28-year-old Michael Perez received an alarming email from one of his coworkers at Bike Block, the Russian funded.
Nah, they don't deserve the pronunciation carpe.
Okay, Block. The Russian funded.
Make it the ugliest fucking sound you can.
The New York City-based ultra-fast grocery app, which is this. We did a segment about these fucking
types. Like, we did.
Pieces of shit places too. So and we're right again. These grifting pieces of shits are grifting pieces of shit to everybody, the workers, the community, everybody. So because of severe sanctions against Russia, this letter announced the company had lost access to its investors and was forced to furlough 90% of its workforce. For Perez, the letter was just one more disappointing long string had experienced working for the company.
Wait. So they furloughed 98%. What do you think happened to the other 2%? Making mad fucking money.
Parachute, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about those are the people that are taking all the money at the top. Yeah, we can't furlough you guys. You have a lifestyle that we need to fund on the backs of these other guys.
But you know how many cars are got on reserve right now? So prior to this abrupt closure, Block was one of the largest, most rapidly growing. That's why I saw this company in shitty storefronts. It disappeared. Wow. Fuck you. 3 former Block workers said that the company delivered something else. Wage theft and its treatment. Wow. So 2 of the workers accused Block of misclassifying them as independent contractors instead of employees, stealing their tips. Wow.
See. Check this out, right? Every time I go to a fucking restaurant, if I don't have the cash, the ladies do. Right. Yeah. So I will pay for the food with one of my cards. Right. Yeah. I put the fucking cash in the hand of the waiter or the waitress.
Yeah. I've been making it a habit, the tip in cash. I'm about to say cash tip, but I was about to make a habit of tip cash because like if you tip in that machine is going to Jeff Bezos, you know where the fuck that tip is going to, so.
Block. They just sticking the tip in, right? Fuck out of here.
So I want to know the numbers.
People. Do you see how I don't want to say what I was about to say, but do you see how people can lose hope?
You hate people. I heard that. So I want to talk about the numbers. I want to talk about the money because we talk about the wage theft. But what about the money? I want to talk about the out of money. I want to talk about the billings. I want to talk about what's going on.
GoPuff was the one that I was thinking of, and Getter, because they've been trying to sell that Getter shit. That was the one. Those are the 2 I was thinking about. Getter and GoPuff.
Fuck these names, yo.
No, fuck them companies. If you're gonna pay people a living wage, you could call yourself fucking Onion Dick. I don't care. Right? But you can't be fucking these people over like this.
I want to talk about the money. I want to talk about the dollar bills. So Block launched in New York market in 2021.
You can call your company Smegma. I don't give a fuck. Pay your people.
With $46 million in seed funding led by Russian venture capital fund Fort Ross Ventures. The company was founded by Russian nationals Roden Shishakov and Slava Buklav, and a majority of the company is controlled by a joint venture of the Russian state-owned bank. Oh my God! Okay,
they actually don't know what's going on because they're trying to outrun the feds with their fucking mega luxury yachts, turning off the transponders, trying not to get their fucking boats taken. They don't have any time to oversee this shit anymore.
Let's talk about this kid, Michael Perez. He's not a kid, he's 28. But Perez first learned about Block last August when he spotted an appealing online ad for bike couriers. The ad placed by the company called Food Start offered a flight rate of $17 per hour.
All right, hold on. Before we go there, I need people to understand. I need you guys to understand what kind of economy that we have here, okay? Now, he said he spotted an appealing online ad for $17 per hour. Name a state in of the 50 where you can make $17 an hour and not be homeless. Name that state.
The ocean. You live in the ocean.
Yes, that was a trick question. There is no place in the United States where this appealing offer is going to put a roof over your head.
You can live in the park. You can live in the park in a tent, maybe.
Nigga, you can live on that bike that you just fucking did the delivery on. When it starts raining, just put that bike over your head.
Now you can't live in the streets in New York City because Eric Adams is gonna fucking bulldoze you off.
No, he's gonna put that bike in the back of a fucking garbage truck.
You say he did it for Jesus.
You better walk
Jesus
them groceries across town to those rich people, boy.
He said Jesus told him to do it. So Perez said that a few weeks after he responded that a representative of the Food Start contacted him and told him he will be working full-time for Block. So in September, he began working at Block Dark Store.
Yeah, that store is dark as fuck.
88th Street on Upper East Side. Perez was not technically an employee of Block. He was an employee of Food Start. This already sounds shady already. Worked
Yo, you got mad shell companies and fronts and shit. For all you know, you delivering, kilos and 8 balls and shit. You don't even fucking know. Fuck, that's some shady ass shit, man.
He was an employee of Food Start who worked as an independent contractor for Block. Food Start could not be reached for comment as his number is no longer in service and did not respond to emails.
Yo, Xenon, $17 an hour was good 30 or 40 years ago. Fuck you talking about?
So there we go ahead. Perez found the job more difficult than expected. Management prioritized delivery speeds over courier safety. Said
of course,
were hit by cars.
I actually showed up to the scene one time. I had just gotten the blue Beamer. I had just gotten it, right?
Okay.
And I had somebody finish some work that I paid them for, fucking who knows how long ago. And then when I went to take him back to Harlem, what do you see? One of these delivery guys with blood, dribbling from his mouth like slobber. Some car hit him, right? You can't tell if the bicyclist was at fault or the car, but you already know who's going to lose that battle. But then you look at this and it's like, well, we prioritize speed over safety. So even when you see these guys making these unsafe maneuvers, they make unsafe maneuvers around me all the time.
The craziest accident I saw recently was an Amazon truck. It was smoking. It was smoking on fire. And obviously because
I don't care about Amazon's trucks. The truck can suck my dick for all I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about their truck. I'm talking about these vulnerable, usually immigrants that can barely speak English, if at all, that they are forcing to make unsafe maneuvers on the road to deliver this bullshit.
I forgot when it was a blizzard. Remember we showed this clip of
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Ordering food in the middle of a blizzard. Some dickhead was ordering food in the blizzard and had this.
No, it wasn't a blizzard. It was that bad flood. Because remember, a whole bunch of people died in the basement apartments in Queens.
He had this poor delivery man,
right? And you saw like the fucking water was like fucking waist high.
I wish I had that clip. I'll pull that up. But he had this poor some asshole who couldn't just microwave something or do something. I don't know, man. But we're gonna keep on.
Man, that shit pisses me off, man.
So at the end of the week, Perez would text his manager with a timesheet showing his hours worked. That's already texting your timesheet. Oh my God. Oh, texting your timesheet. According to a lawsuit Perez later filed against both companies, he routinely worked 45 hours per week but never received overtime pay. The lawsuit also alleges that Block improperly classified. Okay, we already said this already. When Perez complained to Block HR department about the lack of overtime and tips, he said the company blamed Food Start. This is why you have a shady ass shared company, because you can do this kind of shit. No, it's not my fault.
Yeah, pass the buck.
Yeah, so Perez's co-worker Lorenzo Carlos, who was also hired by Food Start, told New York Focus he had a similar experience.
But hey, you might think that texting a timesheet is bad, but how the fuck you think they got found out? Because of fucking text messaging records.
Yeah.
That them doing that actually protects the worker in that situation.
It's always shady that your management.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
This text it to me, I don't. I'm not even a real person. I'm a robot somewhere. So 48 hours and So Lorenzo worked 40 hours to 56 hours weeks without receiving overtime pay. That is violation.
Shit, they didn't even want to pay him what they was paying him.
56 hours and not giving any tips. It was not even given required.
No, they gave him a tip, all right.
I write here from the Bronx. Wow. So this we have it. So the company just disappeared. I really wanted $17 an hour. Good benefits. Obviously, it wasn't. So he worked.
Yeah, the benefits. The benefit was they didn't burden you with all that extra numbers in your checking account when you worked overtime.
So I want to know how much. So we're not really sure. Obviously, this company started with $46 million. After assuming it ended when it closed up, it had more than $46 million. And it pays people nothing. So
no, they paid some people something. The top 2%, the top 2% that they didn't furlough, those people got paid. Believe that.
So I want to pull up. So I really want to pull up these numbers, the collective numbers. So this is actually before the pandemic. So I want to show, because people say, "Oh, it's the pandemic. We know why this shit is crazy." I want to pull up an old ass stats about wage theft before the pandemic. Let's just show you. It probably got. I understand. It probably did get worse because of the pandemic. But this is 2017 numbers right here. I want to show you the wage theft that happened back then. So employers steal billings from workers' paychecks each year. Billings. So this report assesses the prevalence and magnitude. We're using some words here. One form of wage theft, minimum wage theft. This is a violation. You're stealing from the bare minimum people. This is crummy.
What did Chris Rock fucking tell you, Messiah? When somebody pays you minimum wage, what are they saying to you? If I could legally pay you less, I would. These motherfuckers will illegally pay you less.
So this in 2 point, we find that in these states, this is 10 states, mind you, in 10 states, not 50. They didn't do all 50. They're 10 states. In 10 states, 2.4 million workers lost $8 billion annually. That's $3,300 per year for year-round workers.
What bills could you pay with $3,300?
You may think that's not a lot. I don't know how you people live and throwing money around, but you may think that's not a lot. $3,000 stolen wages is a lot.
Think about it. $3,300, right? $3,300 works out to what, like $280 a month that they're stealing, right? Yeah. I mean, $280.
Low wage.
Right. So $280 could be the difference between only being able to afford to eat twice a day instead of 3 times a day.
And then,
think about that.
And I want to circle back to what someone said in the chat says about when you steal. What happens when you wage theft? What happens? What's the solution to wage theft if we don't give those people money? The form of wage theft causes many families to fall below the poverty line and increases workers' reliance on public assistance. So when you steal people's wages, what are you going to do? You need to go in Section 8. You need to go on public assistance programs.
You know, there's another form of public assistance too, Mr. Rhodes. You know what that is?
What?
Them stick-up kids. Yeah, you're going to give me some fucking assistance. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
Give me this money. So
you're running pockets.
Annually. So this suggests the total wage stolen from workers due to exceeds $15 billion. If the finance for the states are represented for the rest of the country is $15 billion. So this means that a victim who works year-round is losing on average $3,300 per year, is receiving only $10,000 in minimum annual wages. You cannot exist on Earth with that kind of money. You can't exist in this country with that kind of wage. You're like half a person. $10,000.
What is that? Like $800 a month? All right. What could I live for $800 a month?
Raps?
Because remember, they kick you off the train now when you get to the end of the line now, right?
Yeah.
So you know that $275 rent that you pay at night, that don't work no more. So I don't know what you could do with $800 a month.
I don't know, man. I don't
Anywhere
know,
in the country, really.
Maybe 1993 or something. I don't know, man.
Maybe 1963.
1963. Would you get
$800 a
fucking
month,
Ford?
you could do something.
You could get a Ford Mustang for like $5,000 back in the day, like the kind of wages. So I want to pull up kind of the good news, approaching half-assed good news, because like pretty much as you see, even after a fucking mass shooting of 19 kids being murdered, and a mass shooter being locked in the classroom, murdering these kids, we have the Senate going on vacation, not passing any laws, not doing anything. This thoughts and prayers, and then going on vacation to Nantucket, whatever.
Nah, they skipped the thoughts and prayers. You're like, yo, and then they went. What's the producer's name that says another one? Who's that dude that says that shit? The fat guy.
Oh no! If he's not Kate Slade, he died recently.
The Arab guy that's in Florida.
GJ Khalid.
Oh yeah, Khaled, right?
Yeah.
Like they skipped the thoughts and prayers. They're just like another one.
Yeah, because it's crazy. By June 6th, it's probably gonna be another mass shooting.
And then they packed their bags.
Yeah. So we have sort of some half-assed good news. This is just a measure that's been passed. It hasn't been passed yet. There's people's hope that it might be passed. So lawmakers want to increase the penalties for wage theft in New York. New York lawmakers want to increase the penalties for wage theft in the state, but added to a definition of larceny in the state's penal code. So finally, like by a fucking snail pace, New York at least is trying to like figure out how to hold people accountable for wage theft.
Well, here's the thing, right? And you know, a lot of times you hear about these companies getting multi-million-dollar fines, right? Yeah. But the thing is, if they made more money than they get fined, then there's really not a deterrent to continue. Is not a deterrent to ceasing those kinds of under the table operations. So, you know, whatever penalties increase, it needs to be more than what they would stand to gain. Otherwise, they're not going to stop doing it. And
I'm going to straight up say this: like this is news that just happened. Like one fucking store, one Apple store.
Do you see waffles?
Yeah.
You see waffles? Wouldn't they use the stolen wages to pay the fines?
Exactly. It's bullshit. What I'm going to say is like, you know, this is the most lukewarm shit. I'm not saying this is great. This is the most lukewarm shit. New York's supposed to be one of the most progressive state governments. And this is
where did the fine money go?
This is the most lukewarm shit they can do. The cops, the beat up fare beaters. So this is the most So I want to talk about what happened at Apple recently. Apple Store, one fucking Apple Store was like, bet, we're going to unionize. You know what Apple did? The minimum wage across the board for retail workers is $22 an hour. This one store was like, you know, we tired of this bullshit. They raised the wages for everybody.
Yeah, you know, they got out in front of that. Because the thing is, you know, Apple has
how important unions work. Unions work. That's just they don't even have union yet, and they worked already. You know.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you look at what's happening with Amazon and Starbucks and their illegal activity to prevent unionization, if you really wanted to prevent unionization, you would just offer them a living wage and some decent benefits.
No, that's how greedy these motherfuckers are over there. They're fucking. They're greedy ass motherfuckers, yo. Don't go fuck. At this point, I'm like kind of Noam Chomsky. He says it's beyond greed. He can't even use the word greed to describe what they're doing.
The next iPhone, though. Next iPhone is going to be like $2,600.
Even though the company is $1 trillion company, I mean, like they just raising the opportunity. I mean, like the iPhone in China is worth like $25. They just whatever they want to make it. That's
those wages aren't going to rise though. they're just gonna raise the anti self-termination that's just a little bit higher. That's all they're gonna do with that.
So that is dash and bash. Because we're not gonna make segments anymore. I got to do this anyway because it's cool. Because follow Black Power Magazine on Twitter, Facebook until Facebook bans us. They rather have mass shooters tell their friends they're going to murder people than have a live stream as facts. And then we're also on Twitch. We're live streaming on YouTube now. We're on the Roku. We're on the Fire Stick. We're on all those different platforms. Dr. Genius, he's talking shit and driving his car like Ryan Gosling and drive. So
I don't got the gloves on though. I need to get those gloves now.
Right. So that's Black Paul.
Well, Ryan Gosling didn't say a lot, right? I'm streaming in the car, y'all.
So that's Dash and Bash.
My latest episode, I did an impromptu ride with Louis Rossman last night.
Oh, cool!
You guys can check that out. Yeah, that's the Dr. Evil Genius channel. But anyway, I'm just about tired of these motherfuckers, man. You know, I don't want to overstate the bad stuff in the world, because I had this discussion with Louis Rossman, because he came over to my house last night and we had this discussion, and he was making the case that a lot of us are just so mentally weak simply because the world today is actually better today than it was, during the Great Depression or whatever problems humans had in the 1700s and the Black Death and all that other stuff, right? And I'm like, well, technically that's true, that, we've got great technology and, the most wealth relative to past civilizations, But the thing is, consumer confidence is low, and people's hope for the future is not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to think about if the people people always use our argument. Oh, like we have refrigerator and electricity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you go to the end of the country. I mean, there's maybe Russia or fucking Turkey maybe have more cops than we do. And that says a lot about our country, that Russia and Turkey has more cops. Those are like places where they come to your house and take you away, put you in a prison somewhere. The fact that that's the comparison we have says a lot about the United States.
Man.
So it's about like freedom. What freedom or what? I saw this one thing. I saw this really good tweet about we should stop thinking about less about it's my right, but more about it's my obligation. It's my obligation to my community, it's my obligation to my family, rather than saying it's my right. Like, what does the fuck that even mean? It's my right. My right to fucking have no mask and take a shit on the subway floor. And that's my right. That's not your obligation to the community. So it's just like we talked about earlier. Like even though we have all this incredible technology, I think people in the past probably thought we still have a community, because it'd be way more awesome if we had this technology. We still have a sense of community. It'd be way more pleasant that we have those cool stuff and still be like, yo, have a good time with my friends. No, people are like, man, alienated and going off, murdering other people, murdering whole families. Like children are killing themselves. Rich and Paul. We had this one guy in New York City today who looked at a high-rise luxury apartment and jumped off the fucking balcony. That happened today in New York City. So I want to play. So I keep talking about guns. I actually want to go on a little mental break before we get to the next segment. But I want to play this segment from HBO Sports with Brian Gumbel, who makes.
Oh my God. White people love Wayne Brady because he makes Brian Gumbel look like Malcolm X.
Which is true. Watch this segment. Brian Gumbel made this segment years ago because, like I said, mass shooting is not a new problem. This and now, like people just been buying way more guns all the time. But this is an example of how easy it is to get a weapon that you don't need. You don't need this. You're not hunting deer, aliens, and nothing like that. This weapon is powerful. But this just shows you kind of how easy it is to access things compared to other things in this country.
Take a ride with Jack, a 13-year-old boy from Virginia, who just got his braces off and usually spends Saturday morning playing basketball with his friends. But he's also a young actor. And today, we hired him to help us make a point. We asked him to take a drive around town. With his mother, of course, since he's not nearly old enough to drive a car. We passed shops where he isn't old enough to work the register. Then we stopped at the convenience store to see Jack drive a TV. The cashier can't believe he even tried. At the next store, Jack tries to buy cigarettes.
Hoping people pay attention what he's trying to buy.
Later, he strikes out trying to buy racy magazines.
All right, okay, thank you.
And then lottery tickets.
Can I get a couple scratch-offs?
How old are you?
13. You what? I'm 13. Okay.
It's laughable to everyone here. The idea that we'd ever expose a 13-year-old to the dangers of a lottery ticket. But then we arrive here at the gun show.
You want 5 of them, boy?
Within minutes, the 13-year-old easily and legally bought a .22 caliber rifle from a private seller and walked away with it.
Hey, if you're not gonna let me beat my meat, then it's time to go find an elementary school. That's the way these kids think.
And at least with that gun, he has to like cock it back and put it in, cock it back. It's not.
Yes, it's that bolt action.
Yeah, it's not like boop, 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 boop. He's not. At least someone can stop him if he goes crazy and like starts murdering people. But this shows you how easy it is for him. You couldn't get porn. You couldn't get cigarettes. You couldn't get fucking lottery ticket.
I beat my meat like it owes me money.
He couldn't even beat his fucking meat. I mean, like let the boy beat his meat. You know,
in peace. Yo, let that boy beat his piece in peace.
So that's an example of like, and this is a throwback. That's a throwback with sports too. So
yo, and the sad thing is that had nothing to do with sports.
I mean, but this, you see what happened with Steve Kerr. I don't watch basketball, but it shows you how terrible it is that.
Nah, he's always talking some woke shit. So that's just him.
A basketball coach spoke better than any politician did since what happened. No politician has spoken as eloquent as he did so far.
But people have been saying that about him from like the last 18 mass shootings. He's always saying something eloquent and poignant. Like that's what he does. That's part of his brand. Like, dude, this might be the first time you've heard of Steve Kerr going off. But he's not the first one. Greg Popovich, another one. But nobody's listening to Greg Popovich because, you know, San Antonio is not in the playoffs.
You see the Twitch chat. Twitch chat.
Yo, can you put that comment up? Can you put Waffle's comment up? You can put it up on the screen?
I have the technology to do that. You just have to read it.
He's going to shoot his dick off now with the gun.
They won't let me buy alcohol, cigarettes, or porn. I'm going to buy this gun and show them.
Exactly. I mean, it's not. The thing is, like 35 years ago, that would have sounded real far fetched, but that is our everyday reality, practically.
So we're going to take I want to take a little break for you guys. Enjoy this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers nostalgia we're going to play for you guys.
Yo, they said some shit about tossing salad, son. That shit fucked me up for life, son. They have this fucking pizza monster, yo. And he comes out, and then the Power Rangers show up, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna toss your salad." I'm like, "Hey, yo!"
He's made of pepperoni. So here's
like what the fuck?
So here's a throwback. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Here's a throwback.
bienvenidos. Hola, buenas tardes, chicos. Hoy estamos jugando Morphin Power Ranger, hombre. Este juegazo de la Super Nintendo, hombre. Nintendo sacó varios juegazos de los Power Ranger, hombre, en 1994. Este es uno de ellos, basado en la serie, hombre, con el mismo nombre, Morphin Power Ranger. También sacó un juego que se llama Morphin Power Ranger The Movie, que la otra vez lo jugué también. Hay un video por ahí en la página de él. Es mucho más difícil que este, mucho más difícil de este, y a mí se me hace todavía un mejor juego. Pero este nunca lo he jugado, al menos lo jugaba de niño, pero nunca lo he terminado y hay que tratar de terminarlo ahora. Bien. Dice... Bien. Este es más fácil, exactamente, Ángel. Saludos, güey. Ryan, saludos, Mario. Saludos, Aliandre Álvarez Tobar. Este juego es más fácil que el otro, bro, mucho más fácil. Hola, tío Romulo, ¿te acuerdas de mí? Sí, me acuerdo de ti. Buenas tardes a toda la gente preciosa, hermosa. Nuevo follower, nuevo. Hola, Jorge Pérez, bienvenido, amigo. Saludos de Culiacán, bienvenidos. Toda la gente hermosa. Hoy vamos a transmitir este juegazo, vamos a terminarlo. Lo extraño, tío, pues porque no vienes, papá, porque no vienes. Buenas tardes, Diana López García Chuyó, gracias por el like. Bienvenido a toda la gente preciosa, hermosa, maravillosa, bonita. Sillazo, hombre, sillazo en la cara, güey, ese vato, sillazo en la saya, cómo no. Ahí tengo una bomba, pero esa bomba la vamos a dejar para la tremendísima de este jefe. Saludos, Vila López García, gracias por tu like, García, bienvenido. Sillazo otra vez, pero no. Vamos otra vez, a la cabeza, hombre, patada en la cabeza. Vamos de una vez, saludos. Pégale con la silla. Vámonos de una vez. Franco Valentino, gracias por tu like, chicos. Si les gusta el contenido, no se olviden dejar su like, su compartida. Si les gustó más, no se olviden seguir la página. Este juego se termina aproximadamente en unas 50 minutos, chicos. Unos 50 minutos, pero a mí me va a costar, yo creo, más. Hola, saludos, buenas. Bienvenidos a toda la gente. Ok, vámonos de una vez. Chaval, ¿andas bien vintage? Sí, claro, siempre he andado. ¿Cuándo he cambiado de andar vintage, loco, yo? ¿Cuándo he cambiado de andar vintage? Nunca he cambiado. Saludos a tremenda 84 personas. Franco Valentino, gracias por tu like. Bienvenidos a toda la gente hermosa que anda por acá. Ese güey lo vamos a destruir. Vamos a destruirlo de una vez, loco.
So hopefully you guys enjoy that little throwback. Waffle says it sounds like Will Smith slapping the shit out of bad guys. Whoever's playing that game must be losing then.
That is the statement of the stream right there.
So we're gonna play this next segment because I don't want to ignore it because people are talking about how these cops stood around and did nothing, but this is not new. Cops stand around while a lot of stuff is happening. Don't do shit.
We reported on one, right? They got called to a SA call.
Yeah,
and it was cold outside, so instead of it was a DV call. Yeah. Instead of doing their job, it's cold, I'm not doing it. And then what happened to the female party?
Same thing happened to those children, unfortunately, which is why I was because as kids, I was shocked and like this nightmare, but I wasn't surprised that these cops would show up at a mass shooting and not do shit. So I'm going to show another example.
Didn't they terminate the suspect?
That was the off-duty border patrol agent who was off-duty border patrol.
He knows what his targets look like.
So the story, there's a story. So the story, they've been changing the story every 5 minutes. It's super duper shady. But we have a lot of witnesses, a lot of video. So we're gonna see how this plays out. But we have footage of the cops stand around while gunshots are happening. I'm not gonna play that, but there are footage of them arresting parents while you can clearly hear gunshots in the school. But first I'm going to talk about this one story. I guess this is bad cops because this is definitely oriented to cops, people begging the cops to help their mom, and they do nothing. So this is, I guess, it's supposed to be politics as usual, but this is definitely a bad cop. So here we go. Because I like the theme song for bad cops too. So
1, 2, 3. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Yes, so many cops are on the tick. What do you expect when they use tear gas and tanks? Whether in a car or on a horse, cops don't mind using excessive force.
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
This is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
The reason why this story makes me really upset, because this could be any grandmother, it could be your mother, it could be my mother, it can be the mother down the street. This is how they treat our matriarchs. They treat them like garbage. So I need to show this example ASAP to me. This is a shocker to me. I don't want this story to be buried. This is a Newsweek article. I'm going to play the Pix logo. So you treat a dog better. Workers spot a skeleton of a woman through a window. This is a headline, a morbid-ass headline that kind of got brushed off. It wasn't really because people get mass murder, so I understand why it would get brushed away.
Waffle said bad cops as usual.
So construction workers made a horrific discovery of a woman's skeleton while doing maintenance outside of a New York City building last week. Marilyn Michael, 54 years old. She's not even that old. This is not old. This is so shocking. Live in the South Jamaica houses in Queens, New York, a property operated by New York City Housing Authority, which loves the black people who live there. They show how much they love the black people who live there all the time.
Yeah, they have wild. They have they give them access to like wild animals that can live with them in their domiciles.
So the workers were standing on scaffolding when they spotted McMichael's skeleton through an open bedroom window on the building's 7th floor. Police entered the apartment April 26. They saw, so this is April 26, May 2022. So finally, the police entered. They saw McMichael's calendar was turned to August 2020, indicating that she may have been dead for nearly 2 years. This is like some Alfred Hitchcock, Stephen King nightmare shit. McMichael's foster sisters, Simone Bess Jones and Charmin McElrath, told WXPix TV that they begun worrying about her in June 2020. She had called them and she said she wanted to go to the hospital. She didn't sound sick at all, McElrath told the local station. She sounded a little manic, and I was trying to explain to her they're not accepting people at the hospital. Mind you, this was April 2020. It was like the second month.
There's the Rona. Yep.
Yeah. So New York hospital.
And this is for all those people that talked all that shit about how it's just a cold, it's just a flu, but all y'all motherfuckers want to pile up into the hospital all at the same time, and then guess who can't get a bed? Remember, the official death toll from the Rona isn't just from the fucking Rona. It's also from the people that could not get medical care because mofos want to clog up the hospitals talking about my rights.
So the sisters went to visit McMichael at her apartment, but their knocks and calls went unanswered. Still, they said this was not unusual behavior from the sister, whom they described as struggling with emotional problems. They said she sometimes chose not to speak with them for years, but as time stretched on, their fears grew. Bess Jones and McElrath decided to call 911 and file police person's report in January. Here we go. In a meeting with housing police officers, they were told that McMichaels hadn't paid rent in over a year. Oh, that's what you tell them? They're telling you this. They're telling you their sister's fucking missing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lean back in this chair and get real comfortable. Carry on.
So here we have the first thing is McMichael hadn't paid rent in over a year. Their attempt to file a police report also met resistance from NYCHA, which claimed they were not next of kin. An official said that Bess Jones' parents were on McMichael's mercy card. Both her parents have been dead for over 20 years. These assholes.
But guess what? If she would have committed a felony, they would have found somebody.
She would have been selling mangoes in the subway station or definitely found them.
Oh, hell yeah. They would have definitely found somebody.
The sisters finally convinced NYCHA and managers and the police officer to visit McMichael's apartment with them, but they had a master key that could not open the door. After that, Bess Jones said they never tried again. You treat a dog better than that. So what? So why she lived in public housing? Bess Jones said she shouldn't have been made a difference. So now, NYCHA representatives said that McMichael's death was a police matter. What assholes! It's a police matter. So I want to. This is like
they're like, yo, we're just waiting on our rent.
So they go up to so this is what happened in the story. They go up to the house and police, like, she hasn't paid, that bitch hasn't paid rent. Fuck that bitch. Like, maybe because he's dead. You think
it's like, you guys know that you guys have a Halloween decoration just sitting in one of these apartments, right? And the best that you can do is, well, yeah, we'd like to get that rent though.
Yo, Waffle said that all your sisters missing. You could probably find a back rent worth to be paid. Yo, that's crazy. That's some mafia shit. So this is the report. The only report I can find, local news, which did this report. No one else, no CNN.
Because no one gives a fuck. She didn't pay her rent.
The forgotten woman of NYCHA until construction workers made a terrible.
She was dead.
This
is August 2020.
Skeleton in her bedroom while working on the top floor at South Jamaica Houses.
Now, we are learning tonight she may have been dead nearly 2 years. 6-7's Mary Murphy joining us now with more details.
Nobody smelled nothing either, right?
The woman's name was Marilyn McMichael, and her skeleton was found on
April
26th. She had 2 foster sisters who tried to report her missing back in January, but they say nobody seemed to care.
Evil people, evil, incompetent people. I don't know if evil is incompetence, I'm not sure.
But not too many people know about the discovery made inside the building on April 26th.
I just heard it was a woman found in her bed. She was found in her bed upstairs on the 7th floor.
Her name was Marilyn McMichael, and she was 54 years old.
Apparently, her windows were open, so the men on the scaffolding saw her in her bed, dead, skeletal form.
Simone Bess Jones and Charmin McElrath are foster sisters who grew up with Marilyn McMichael, known as May, in a loving family. They said May developed emotional problems over the years,
and no one's gonna. And that's the background of this. They were foster sisters, so that shows you the trauma. That's another level of trauma. They were forced in foster care. That you can't. I mean, that's a whole nother level. But she got up the age. She got 52. She blew past that, and this is how she goes. This makes me really upset about the story.
Do you remember what I was talking about? Those connecting threads from one incident to another.
Mm-hmm.
You could put this in with the other 2 incidents we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about people who have been abandoned, people who are isolated, people who don't believe that anybody cares about them. Oh, and by the way, way to go, New York City, NYCHA, NYPD, the whole shebang, to confirm that you really don't care about these people at all. And she laid in that bed, and then her body went cold. And then you get what I'm saying?
But and what's even more infuriating, the 2 people on earth that did care about her, they made it as hard as possible to help them. Like, they might as well have them jump through an obstacle course or some shit. It's crazy.
called them after the first wave of the pandemic in 2020.
She wanted me to take her to the hospital. She sounded a little manic, and I was trying to explain to her.
She could have died of the Rona.
The hospital.
The sisters say they tried knocking on May's door over the next year.
We would never get her to come to the door.
Was that unusual, or had she done it before?
That was not unusual for May.
They say they went to the NYCHA office in South Jamaica Houses in January.
Wow, they put the camera right in the office too.
Fuck them.
They're like, yo, we shouting all y'all niggas out.
She caught them know that both of them have been dead for over 20 years.
The sisters claim NYCHA personnel and the NYPD cop didn't show much empathy, but eventually took them to the 7th floor and tried to use a master key on McMichael's door. It didn't work.
And they never tried again.
Wow.
They said they had an investigator that would find her.
Marilyn McMichael's sisters told us that 3 months after they tried to file a missing persons report here at the NYCHA offices at South Jamaica Houses, they received terrible news from their sister's neighbor.
Decomposed in an apartment. You treat a dog better than that.
Pixel News
Oh, yeah.
to the basement
Definitely.
No doubt. Because all I hear about is how much people love dogs and hate people. That's all I hear these days.
Well, yeah, we roll back. They're trying to. We roll back to that. So the reporter.
Pixel 11 News paid a visit to the basement NYCHA office. Do you know why they didn't check for 3 months? When we asked to speak with a supervisor, the NYCHA press office only sent a brief response to my email. Quote, please reach out to NYPD for more information as this is a police matter. The sisters say multiple people need to answer for what happened.
She was treated, to me, less than human.
So what she lived in public housing? It should have made a difference.
Police told us when they entered McMichael's apartment on April 26th, they noticed the calendar had not been used since August 2020. It was almost frozen in time. The medical examiner had to use x-rays to identify the woman.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Like they found bones in a fucking dig fucking 10,000 years ago. That is absurd.
You know, when people talk about our lives have just become a commodity for corporations,
I mean,
and the thing is, do you see how those people were quick to close the door? How much you want to bet that them chicks live in New York City housing with no husband by themselves? They could just as easy end up just like this woman, but close the door. Yo, you could be next. Insane. I can't. It
is shocking to me.
Yo, if you're not getting, if you are not providing profits to some entity, they do not give a fuck about you. And remember that acts of despair come in more forms than just mass violence. Mm-hmm. We talked about self-termination. Mm-hmm. We talked about drug abuse. We're talking about other forms of abuse, self-abuse, abuse of others. There's more to it than that, and everybody just wants to, put their fucking head in the sand.
Yeah,
you could be next.
We have a system. Really, this woman is really crushed by it, and left as bones in a bedroom, and no one cared about her.
Nope. So. And the thing is, not like they put up like a bunch of like obstacles to help her. They just didn't try. Like, hey, this master key doesn't work. All right, see y'all later.
What?
They try. Remember, they say, "Hey, what's going on?" And then more than a year goes by after they tried. Hey, this master key doesn't work. Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
they weren't really trying to help.
She went on vacation.
But if there was some weed in there, they'd be kicking the door down.
So that's a shocking story to me. So I want to pull up because we had this man.
And Waffles asked the same fucking question. Nobody smelled the dead body. No one gave a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, if the fact that you probably was decomposing, but no one gave a shit. It probably was like the trash compactor or something like that. It's sad. So I want to,
especially in the hood, people just mind their fucking business. They're like, oh, I don't like the smell, and then 3 or 4 months later, the smell goes away. Oh, that's not a problem anymore.
So I want to go to this next thing, back to culpability, because we have a situation in Texas, this awful mass shooting, and you have politicians blaming doors and shit like that. And I want to play deja vu because we have a mayor. So I'm gonna play Ted Cruz blaming doors, and I'm gonna play Eric Adams blaming doors. This is the laziest politicians we have right now, blaming doors.
I mean, we've already seen Eric Adams in action.
So I want to play Ted Cruz, and I'm gonna play Ted Cruz talk about doors, and we play Eric Adams play about doors.
Oh, that okay. I got you.
The horror that played out across the street. Look, the killer entered here the same way the killer entered Santa Fe, through a back door, an unlocked back door. I sat down at round table with the family.
Pause.
We talked about what.
I want to remind the audience that unlocked back door would have stayed closed if we gave a fuck about these boys to begin with. Because he would not be trying to enter the back door. It would have remained closed the way it had always remained closed prior to 2 days ago. I just want to make sure that we reiterate that.
Yeah, do you want your kids to go to a school that feels like a maximum security prison?
Hello. like a fucking Supermax in Colorado. Send all the kids there.
They'd be safe there, right? Like a dickhead. So.
We need to do to harden schools, including not having unlocked back doors, including not having unlocked doors to classroom, having one door that goes in and out of the school, having armed police officers at that one door.
They did have an armed police officer. I mean, he may at this point the story's changing every half hour because the cop is making shit up at this point. So
they're trying to get the story straight, like in The Wire.
Exactly. So I'm gonna play Eric Adams, which also blamed a mass casualty event. There's another example of people not giving a fuck about other people. I think it was 17 people died, including a few babies died in this fire.
Xenon, you're about to see. You're supposed to like not lock the doors if you listen to Eric Adams.
Another lazy piece of shit politician blaming doors instead of blaming systemic issues that could prevent this stuff.
And if we take one message from this that Commissioner Nigro has mentioned several times, close the door. Close the door. That was embedded in my head as a child watching commercials over and over again. We're going to double down on that message. My conversation with
Ted Cruz is helping us double down on this message, closing the doors.
We're going to send out communications to all of our schools and state that
Which he didn't do either. He's a fucking liar.
The same level of
if you lock the doors, the bullets won't come through them.
The fire and the bullets won't go through the door.
We can
this time was fire
by closing the doors, not only in this city but across the entire globe. This painful moment can turn into a purposeful moment as we send the right message of something simple as closing the door.
Yo, Xenon is a savage.
Ted Cruz and Eric Adams saying the same message: close the door. Just close the doors, and you'll live. Forget being alienated and broke and poor. Just close that door. I'll solve all your problems.
Yeah, because if you close the door, you'll just rot to death in peace, and nobody needs to be bothered with you.
See, you just went the total dark destructor.
I mean, that's the lesson here. That's the lesson here, obviously. If you just close and lock the door, we'll come pick you up in 2 years.
Pick up your bones. So creative experiments said close all the doors. Wait, he said close all the doors 2024.
So inspirational. So inspirational. Yo, do you think these motherfuckers missed us the last month or so? The fuck?
Close the door. So I'm gonna play this next shady thing that happened. So these cops are trying to get their story straight, but some of it is coming out piece by piece. This is another example of these cops not giving a shit about the kids, but giving a shit about their own kids. Though he let it slip. And
wait a minute! What was that shit you always hear the Republicans say? But what about the children? So someone think of the children.
They were thinking about children, all right. Close the door. Close the door.
So first, I want to acknowledge the brave men and women of law.
It's got some low volume.
Of course, they had to put the Hispanic face on it, right?
Of course.
And save more lives. That, of course, we lost 18. But I want to praise those brave men and women of law enforcement. Also, offer our condolences on behalf of Texas Department of Public Safety to the families, to the victims, to the entire Uvalde community. So what we do know right now.
Yeah, he has that shit rehearsed.
This is too loud. I can't hear it. Fuck him. So I can't hear him. I don't want to play it.
That was all rehearsed, man. It's the standard fare. You know, they put a Hispanic face on it, trying to talk as fucking southern white as he possibly can.
With a cowboy hat on.
Yeah,
So let's play this. This article has been. You guys probably already seen this article. Everyone's been talking about this crazy Wall Street Journal. I've been seeing like people taking screenshots of this article because it's the most absurd story we have so far about what happened. So this is the shooter fired outside school for 12 minutes before entering. So you already started his mass.
Yeah, I don't think the open back door was the issue. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
You
with
think
this
so?
information here.
You don't have to close the door. It'll be okay. Just close the door.
Now, he shot a bunch of Hispanic kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask this question. I gotta go there, right?
Yeah.
if it was in a white parish or township that this happened,
yeah,
do you think that he would be allowed to just buck off shots for 12 minutes?
That's the question. I don't think not at all, because not at all, boy. They would turn that man into a fucking bowl of jello.
Well, like, no, they turn him into flan. Like if he was like outside of the school that Ted Cruz's kids go to,
yo, they would have drone strike.
Do you think it would have been 12 minutes him out there just bucking?
So
I don't know.
So we go. So right now they're not saying who's. No, he said he couldn't say why no one stopped Ramos from entering the school during that time. Tuesday, the 12 minutes. Most of the shots Ramos fired came during the first several minutes before he entered the school. What the fuck? So people who arrived at the school while Ramos locked himself in the classroom or saw videos of policing outside were furious. So this is the thing. It was people already were sharing videos of the cops outside the school.
So basically, the cops turned into glasses. That they turned into goggles.
So the police were doing nothing.
Exactly.
Rose Gomez, who after learning about the shooting, drove 40 miles to Robb Elementary, where her children are in 2nd and 3rd grade. They're standing outside the fence. They weren't going in there or running anywhere. So officers inside the school were evacuating students and school police from the premises, as well as calling for backup. That's a lot going on. So we have conflicting stories right now. We have a parent saying that no one's doing shit, and we have this guy saying that they were doing rescue missions and shit. So the department,
that doesn't even make any sense. You know why? Because do you think it's the police that leads the fire drills in schools, or is it the fucking faculty? The fucking faculty that can get the kids out.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to go over there and face that rifle. And the thing is, personally, I don't judge a man that doesn't want to go towards where the shots are coming from.
No,
I don't judge anybody on that.
Yeah, but
don't pretend that you are actually doing some fucking heroic shit.
But when Tamir Rice, a fucking 12-year-old, was heard to have a firearm, they drove.
Oh yeah, those cops are heroes, man.
They drove right up to that boy and shot that boy.
Yeah. I mean, but those
are sleeping.
Those are hero cops, though, man. Like, they went in the line of duty. They took that toy gun off the streets, man. They went up there and definitely ramboed that little boy. Yeah, because remember, they feared for their safety. They were just trying to get home that night.
So here's the conflicting stories. Department of School Safety officials previously said an armed school officer confronted Ramos as he arrived at the school. Thursday, that information was incorrect and no one encountered Ramos.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
no one did shit.
Who the fuck is trying to cover their ass on this? What the fuck? I'm telling you, don't give a fuck about those kids. Those kids have just a little bit too much melanin and too much of an accent.
So here we go. So Ramos then began shooting at people at a funeral home across the street, prompted a 911 call, reporting a gunman at the school at 11:30. Here we go. Here's the timing. So, because someone asked how long the cops took to get there. So 11:30, they reported the cop. They called 911 at 11:30. Ramos climbed a chain link fence about 8 feet high onto school grounds and begun firing before walking inside unimpeded at 11:40. The first police arrived from the scene at 11:44 and exchanged gunfire with Ramos, who locked himself in the 4th grade classroom. There, he killed the students and teachers. Finally, this is when it's a gap in the paragraph and there's a gap in the story.
This motherfucker killed an entire classroom.
A Border Patrol tactical team ran to the school an hour later, around 12:40, and was able to get into the classroom and kill Ramos. So here we got the first police officer arrived at 11:44. And it only took them by 12:40. That's when they were able to get in the classroom and kill this fucking maniac.
No offense. I've heard enough. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done. Don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm going to say to end this segment is that this is probably the most literal sense. When we talk about bad cops,
yeah,
we're talking about this in the literal sense. But I'm done with this. I'm done with this segment.
I forgot I didn't change this. It was supposed to be like separate, but yeah. So I want to go. Yeah, the parents. So pretty much the parents end up going. It goes on about the parents went in and saved their kids. Pretty much, just one mom, Miss Gomez, 4 of handcuffs, and they ran in and saved her 2 kids. She climbed the 8-foot fence and saved her 2 kids.
I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done with that story. I'm done with it. I'm done. I heard enough.
So there you have it, guys. A whole hour. So now we gotta wait for them to make the story up about what's gonna happen. That's the thing. It's gonna make the story up.
Yeah.
So
when people say "fuck the police,"
Oh, really? What do you mean? So nightmare people. So we're gonna wrap it up though. Hopefully you guys enjoy puppy pistol
power.
Puppy pistol power.
Black puppy pistol power hour.
Yeah. Feed him his lunchbox. So that's crazy. So we worked really hard. We're back. We're gonna be working hard for you guys. You know how hard we work. Work so hard. I want to play this guys for you guys.
I wanted to gain his acceptance. I failed.
So there you have it. So I'm sorry, guys. Next time we're not going to play any copyright things that get knocked over YouTube. That sucks. But we enjoy you guys on Twitch. We enjoy you guys on all the platforms and the TV platforms and Facebook. We'll be back on Tuesday unless some other crazy person does something in the country. Then I might not be able to do a show. But I really hope that people fucking relax and talk to your neighbors. So
remember, compassion is the key, y'all.
Please talk to your fucking neighbor so they don't murder people.
Or forget about your neighbors for 2 years after they die.
So, we're back on YouTube. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. We're back. Okay, sorry, guys. We got blocked because they're assholes. That's all I really say about that. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of that clip. So, I guess we play it one more time for YouTube. We work really hard for you guys. Play one last time. How hard we work for the YouTubes.
Yeah, we really do try to get them pull-ups in, though.
So
I gain his acceptance.
We'll get blocked for that. So we enjoy you guys. Tune in on Tuesdays at 9, Thursdays at 9.